For this 30-minute yin practice, you might want to have 2 blankets and a block nearby, and take any props with you that you would like to support your practice. This practice focuses on the hips and the shoulders, and we're going to begin laying down on the back. You're going to take your right hand and thread it underneath your low back. So it's going to look like this, and you're going to snake your right fingertips over to the side. So start seated, recline onto your back, have your feet flat. Then you might need to lift your hips or just tilt your low back and slide your right hand underneath you with the palm facing down to the earth. Then take your left hand up and over your head and bend your elbow enough until your arm can rest on the floor. And then the knees can stay bent and the feet can stay flat, or you can start to extend the legs towards straight. And the intention here is just to simply drop the right shoulder down the back as we start to take this first touch into the shoulder joint. Maybe you invite the eyes to close and do a gentle scan through your body. Notice if there's any holding from your day, and allow anything that you don't need right now to soften, whether it's the muscles of the face, the hinge of the jaw, or the seat of the body, the hips. Allow your fingers to be at rest. And start to notice your breath. Let your breath be really steady and smooth. And just a very subtle sound of ujjayi to help focus the mind. Little breath in, little breath out. On an inhale, bend your knees, plant your feet flat. Slide your right arm out from underneath you. And just switch sides. Right elbow bent along the temple or the height of the shoulders. Take the left hand underneath the low back. You might lift the hips. You might just need to tilt the low back away from the earth. Slide the left hand as far as you can over to the right until the fingertips sneak out of the right side waist. And again, the option to keep the feet flat or extend the left leg, both legs, towards straight. As the feet fall away from each other, if the legs extend, again, just notice the body. Any holding that you don't need, letting it go. As if you could give the full weight of yourself over and down into the mat. And remembering that as we work through the shoulders and as we work through the hips, right and left are often going to feel quite different. And that's not something for us to have a judgment around. It's not something for us to criticize. It's just something to observe that over time, as we continue to show up in a balanced way in these shapes, we start to cultivate balance in the body. But understanding that because of use, maybe we're right hand dominant or left hand dominant, the different sides of the body are going to have different types of tension or resistance, and that's completely normal. Each time the mind wanders, coming right back to your breath. On an inhale, rebend your knees, plant your feet flat. Snake your left hand out from underneath you, run your arms by your sides, and lengthen your tailbone to your heels. With your feet flat, keep your knees bent. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, cross your right ankle over your left. So making a little detour into the hips. If you feel sensation here already in the right hip as you wrap the right thigh forward, then stay here. This is a great place to be. If you would like to draw the left thigh into the chest, take the right hand between the legs, the left hand outside the left thigh, and draw the left knee in. And the whole time, the right foot stays flexed as you continue to wrap the right thigh forward. Drawing the awareness of your breath down and into the seat of your body, your right hip. As if through the attention that you pay, you could literally breathe down and into your right hip joint today. Each breath an opportunity to soften both the muscles and to soften the folds of the mind, so drifting away from thought or distraction, and coming right back to this time that you're carving out for yourself. If the left thigh is drawing into the chest, take one more inhale here as you hug the left knee in. Exhale, float the left foot to the floor, keep the right ankle where it is, and cactus the elbows. Pause here, take a breath. As you exhale, shift the hips to the right and drop everything to the left. The sole of the right foot is going to land on the floor, and your left knee is going to rest to the mat. Point your right knee toward the ceiling, and even though the lower right back won't touch the floor, imagine that you could breathe into the bottom of the right lung, like that piece of you could get a little heavier, like a paperweight down to the mat. On an inhale, spin the sole of the left foot flat, uncross the right ankle and switch sides. Left ankle over your right knee, wrap the left thigh forward, and you can stay right here, or draw the right knee, the right thigh into the chest. Left foot flexing, left thigh wrapping forward, and there's this constant back and forth, right knee hugging in, left hip wrapping forward, keeping the low back balanced, and the sitting bones pointing evenly toward the top of your mat. Allow your belly to be soft, and allow the back of your head to rest. So if there's tightness in the body and the head comes off the floor, take your blanket or a pillow and curl that up and place that underneath your head so you have something to rest on. And we don't want to displace tension into any other piece of the body. This is really an opportunity just to be here with the breath and to be here with the biggest joint in the body, the hip. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, lower the sole of the right foot to the floor if it's lifted, cactus the elbows, and drop everything over to the right. Sole of the left foot standing on the floor, the knee pointing to the sky, as you allow the outer right thigh and the right knee to drop to the right. And then some of the same work here. How heavy can you get in the left side of the body? Sending breath into the very bottom of the left lower lung, almost like you could inflate the lower back with so much breath it could draw you down to the mat. And noticing too when some resistance creeps in, when you maybe find yourself a little bit fidgety or even maybe momentarily bored, and just reminding yourself that you deserve this time. That as much as it's good to move the body in a quick way, in a strong way, that this yin opportunity is time to really heal and rejuvenate in a lasting way. So just coming right back to this breath, to this moment, to this time that you've carved out to be on your mat. On an inhale, come back through the center, spin the sole of the right foot flat. Uncross the left ankle, place the left foot to the floor, hug the knees into the chest, and gently rock up to sit. And then sweep around into a tabletop pose. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and pause on all fours. Draw your right knee to your chest, and then snake your right foot outside of your left knee. Stack your right thigh on top of your left. Lean a little forward. Separate your feet wide as your inner thighs hug in, and then walk your hands back and rest your sitting bones all the way onto the floor for Gomukhasana with the legs. And so if you notice that you can't sit all the way onto the floor, this is a really good opportunity to either grab a stack of blankets or grab a block and sit up on that instead. The tops of the feet press down toward the floor as your inner thighs squeeze in, and then see if both sit bones can anchor either down onto your mat or onto the support that you've added there. And then keep what you have as you sit up tall. On an inhale, reach both arms to the sky. As you exhale, drop the left hand down outside the left hip. Take the right arm out to the side and turn the right palm to face behind you. Drop the right hand behind the back, and then take the right hand outside the left waist or just to the low back. And then as you pause there, drop your left ear to your left shoulder, allowing this whole right channel of the body to have a really sweet touch. Let your head be heavy, letting your left ear hang to your left shoulder. And if you're inspired to nod the head a little bit up and down, a little bit side to side, allowing this strap of muscle that runs all across the side of the neck to have a really sweet touch. And these are the muscles that do so much to support the weight of the head. I'm just giving them a little opportunity here to receive. The right shoulder wrapping down the back. And the breath moving the sitting bones ever increasingly down into the mat. Seeing how heavy you can get through the sitting bones as they descend. On an inhale, lift the crown of the head back to the sky. Release the right arm from behind the back. Pause there for a second. And then as you start to take both hands to the left, you'll press into the outer edges of the feet. Walk all the way around until your left thigh is on top of your right. And again, you can lean forward for a moment so you get that little extra squeeze of the inner thighs together before you rest the sitting bones back. Tops of the feet flat to the floor. And as your inner thighs squeeze, again, the invitation to sit up on something if that's best for the body today. Sit up tall, lengthen the tailbone to the earth. On an inhale, reach both arms to the sky. Exhale, drop the right hand down outside the right hip. Take the left arm all the way out to the left, turn the palm to face behind you, and wrap the left hand behind the back. Take an inhale at the top, and exhale, drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Not forcing anything, but allowing the shoulders to descend down the back. And with the right temple heavy, you can nod a little bit, explore a little side to side, but not moving too quickly. Really sweet touches here. Notice if there's any gripping in the face or in the hips. And letting those muscles soften. On an inhale, lift the crown of the head to the sky. Release the left hand from behind the back. Lean back into your hands. Place the soles of the feet flat. And then one time, lift the hips, upward facing tabletop pose. Give the shoulders a little stretch. Give the hip flexors a little touch. Take a full inhale here. Exhale, lower the hips down. Sweep the feet around you. And as you come onto the hands and the knees, gently draw the knees behind the hips in just a modified plank. Lower all the way down onto the mat. Release the legs back and reach the right arm out of the right shoulder. You might want to block for underneath your temple. Bend your left knee. As you roll to the right side, drop your left toes behind you, pinning your right shoulder down to the earth. You can keep your left hand in front of your face, or if you feel like you want to take the left hand behind the back, you can drop the left hand behind the back, roll the left shoulder away, or you might turn the right palm to the sky and you might catch and interlace the fingers today. If the head is hanging and not stable, resting on the earth, slide a block underneath your head or a blanket and give your right temple a place to rest. And sending the breath energetically down the right shoulder, letting the right collarbone widen. And this place that holds so much of our current tension, so much of our current stress, really allowing all of that to energetically drain out of the body and into the mat. As if you could envision each exhale kind of cleansing not only the energetic system, but the muscular system of anything it no longer needs. Releasing the interlacing of the hands. Bring the left hand back in front of the face if you took it behind you, and gently roll back onto your belly. Right hand slides underneath your right shoulder. Reach your left arm straight out of your left shoulder, palm faces down to the floor. Bend your right knee, roll onto your left side, and drop your right toes behind you. Again, you can stay right here with the hand in front of the face, or maybe you take the right hand behind the back, or maybe you even catch and interlace the fingers and continue to roll the chest open. Allow your left temple to rest, whether it's on the floor, whether it's on a block. And as the collarbones widen and spread, if the fingers are interlacing, squeeze the palms to touch, and allow your left temple to be heavy. In these yin moments, just such a complement to the rest of the pace of life. The invitation to slow down the practice, to slow down the breath, and to put it into an active living meditation, to keep coming back, knowing that the mind will get distracted, other sounds are going to come in, other memories, other sensations. And you just keep coming right back to this breath, to this pose that you're in, to this moment here on your mat. Take one more inhale. If the right hands behind the back are interlacing, place the right hand in front of the face, roll back onto the belly, pause there, press to child's pose just for a moment. Big toes together, hips drop back. As you ground through the hands, stretch the arms forward, and at the same time, press the sitting bones back. And then inhale, rise to all fours, and this might be an opportunity where you use your blankets, or you can curl up the edges of your yoga mat. You can kind of draw everything in if you like for some padding. You're gonna come onto your knees. Open your knees about as wide as your hips, drop down onto your forearms, and spread your feet out wide. And then notice if your tush is sticking up to the sky, lengthen your tailbone back, like you're gently drawing your two frontal hip bones to your face. And if you're on blankets, it's kind of nice because you can use them like little knee skateboards and press your knees away from each other. But notice that as your feet flex, they open up wider than your knees. And then keep lengthening the tailbone back. Fingers can interlace, or it's sometimes a nice gesture to turn the palms up to the sky, just as a gesture of receiving. And then notice that you're not over cranking in the neck, not looking up toward the ceiling. Little tuck of the chin, long back of the neck. And breathing down into the seat of the body, down into the hips, and keep checking in with the tuck of the tail. Notice when your tush wants to hike up to the sky. See if you can re-lengthen once again. And so just important that the inner knees feel safe and secure, whether they're padded on your rolled mat or whether they're padded on your blankets. Just not wanting any unnecessary pressure in this sensitive joint. And almost envisioning that your breath could move right into the basin of your body, tapping not only into the power that we have of breath to be expansive, but also those qualities of water that are there in the lower chakras, just this quality of fluidity. Last couple breaths here. Notice if anything creeps into the face, any holding anywhere that you don't need. Let that soften. On an inhale, press back into your hands, straighten your arms, one knee at a time, slide the knees in, unroll your mat. As you come back to all fours, draw your legs ahead, cross your ankles behind you, and flex your feet to your face. Pause for a moment as you sit up tall. Bend your right knee. As you place your right foot flat to the mat, step your right foot over your left knee. Place your right hand behind your back. Inhale your left arm to the sky, just an easy twist for a moment. And think about the shoulders here. So spreading wide through the collarbones, through the front of the chest. Sitting forward on the sitting bones, sitting up through the crown of the head. An opportunity to gently ring out. Turning the gaze over the back right shoulder just until your body says it's enough. Take one inhale to sit up. Gaze forward as you exhale. Release your left elbow, spin to face ahead, and drop your right knee open to the right. Slide your left shin underneath your right shin, double seated pigeon. Inhale both arms to the sky. Exhale, fold and dive. As you drop your way out, think about your heart reaching beyond your shins. Keeping a little length through your back body today as you flex both feet. And the same invitation always applies to modify in a way that serves you best. So if you need to stay upright, keeping the shoulders above the hips, knowing that of course you can always do that. On an inhale, walk your hands back in, lift your chest. Lean back, extend the legs forward, flex the feet to the face, sit up tall. Bend your left knee, plant the sole of your left foot flat. Step your left foot over your right knee. Left hand comes behind you. Inhale your right arm to the sky and twist. Take your right elbow outside your left knee. Spread your collarbones wide. Turn your gaze over your left shoulder. As you lengthen up and out of the crown of the head, continue to flex the right foot. Sense the right elbow and the left knee working together like little levers to spread the chest wide. Take one more inhale to twist. Gaze forward as you exhale, release the right elbow, face the top of the mat. Drop the left knee open to the left, stack the left ankle above the right knee, and slide the right shin underneath the left. Inhale the arms to the sky. Exhale as you fold and dive. Heart drawing forward. And then as the sitting bones root down, you have a place of opposition from which to extend out of the center of the sternum, the chest. The low belly gently lifts up and in. And notice what's happening with your eyes. Are your eyes darting around all over the place? Are your eyes busy? And is there a way for you to either gaze at one point or maybe close your eyes? Just so that you're directing your attention in an intentional way. On an inhale, walk your hands back in, lift your heart, lift your chest. Lean back, place the soles of the feet flat, and roll all the way down onto your back. As you hug the knees in, give them one last little squeeze. And for your final rest, bring the soles of the feet together, open the knees out wide, and take the arms almost over the head, so you cactus the elbows. One last little touch for the shoulders and the hips as you find your space of rest. If this pulls on the inner thighs or the outer hips, take your rolled blankets or your blocks and place those under the knees for support. Take a deep inhale through your nose. And open up your mouth, exhale. And 2 more times, deep inhale through your nose. Open up your mouth, exhale. 1 last time, deep breath in. Hold it at the top. See if you can draw in a little more breath and open the mouth, let it go. Letting all effort drain out of the body, the fingers curl a little bit. Let the entire body become soft, the fullest expression of yin. And if you have the space to stay here today, then please stay. Otherwise, slide the hands outside the knees, spin the soles of the feet flat. Gently roll onto the right side. Cradle the head in the crease of the right elbow. Pause there for a moment. There's nowhere to rush to. Giving yourself a transition that honors what you stepped into. Press down into your left hand. Rise all the way back up to sit. Find a comfortable cross of the legs and just place the hands on the knees, sitting with the effects of your practice today. And noticing maybe how sweet it is to give yourself permission to slow down. In this sense of having rejuvenated from the inside out. On an inhale, draw your hands together at the center of your heart. As you bow your eyes down and in, a moment to say thank you to yourself for making this time and this space to touch the 2 most important connections we have. The hips and the shoulders that draw us into our center, into the space of the heart. Take 1 final inhale here. Open the mouth, exhale. Allow your practice to guide you as you bring your practice to a close. Namaste.